What if I told you that the closure you're waiting for, the apology, the explanation, the let's talk text, isn't coming, and that's the best thing that could ever happen to you? Sit with that for a second. Because right now, you're probably thinking that without closure you can't move on, that something is unfinished, that she owes you an ending. But here's the truth. She doesn't owe you anything. And the longer you wait for a clean goodbye, the more you stay chained to the version of yourself that needed her approval to feel whole. You're not broken. You're just uncomfortable with silence. But that silence? It's not a void. It's space. Space for you to rebuild. Space for you to transform. And if you use it right, it becomes the most powerful weapon you've ever had. Understand this. Closure is a fantasy. It's the mind begging for control over something that was never yours to steer. Most people don't give closure because they don't want to see you move on. They want to leave the door cracked, just enough to keep your attention, just enough to keep you hoping. But you don't play that game. Not anymore. This isn't just a breakup. It's a rebirth. The pain you're feeling isn't a sign that something ended. It's the pressure that forges something unshakable inside you. You don't need her to explain why she left. You need to use the silence she left behind to become the kind of man she can't look away from, even when she tries. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to turn that silence into strength, how to stop needing answers and start building attraction through detachment, how to evolve past her memory, and how to step fully into the mindset of a stoic man, a man who doesn't flinch when he loses something, because he knows he is the foundation, not her, not the relationship, him. If you're done waiting for closure, if you're ready to rise without a final word, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. Her silence made me stronger. Number 1. She doesn't owe you closure. You keep replaying the last conversation, trying to decode her tone, her words, her timing. You scroll through old messages, looking for clues, some hint, some crack in the surface that explains why she ended things the way she did. But here's the brutal truth most men don't want to hear. She doesn't owe you closure. Not now, not ever. Because closure isn't about answers. It's about control. And when you chase closure, what you're really chasing is permission to let go. You're outsourcing your peace to someone who already decided they don't value it. Stoicism teaches that your focus should always be internal. Control what you can, accept what you can't. If she left without explaining herself, that's her character. If you're still waiting for an apology or an explanation, that's your weakness, because deep down, part of you still believes she holds the key to your healing. She doesn't. She never did. Look, people don't leave relationships in a clean, respectful way because it's easier to disappear. It's easier to ghost than to own up. And if she was cowardly enough to vanish without a conversation, then her silence is your blessing in disguise. That was her final act, and it told you everything you needed to know about her values. She showed you who she really was. That was your closure. Now act like it. Every time you beg the universe for an explanation, you keep yourself locked in the past. You stay emotionally kneeling to someone who walked away like you were disposable. And that energy, it bleeds into everything. Your confidence, your goals, your future connections. Stop waiting for a finish line that doesn't exist. You don't need closure. You need discipline. You need self-respect. You need the courage to say, her actions told me enough. It's not about what she did. It's about how you respond. And the only response that matters now is silence. Yours. Cold, calm, powerful silence. Number 2. Emotional discipline is your revenge. You want to scream. You want to text her something raw. You want her to feel the weight of what she did. That urge, that's your ego begging to be seen, to be heard, to be soothed. But real power doesn't come from reaction. It comes from restraint. Emotional discipline is the ultimate revenge, not because it hurts her, but because it rewires you. She expected a meltdown. She expected anger, begging, impulsive texts at 2 a.m. And when she doesn't get it, that silence cuts deeper than any words ever could. Understand this. Emotion is leverage. The person who controls their emotions controls the dynamic. She may have had the upper hand when she walked away, but the moment you stop chasing closure, stop reacting, stop needing to be understood, you flip the power. Why? Because now you're no longer playing her game. You're building a new one where she doesn't even know the rules. Dark psychology works like this. The less predictable you are, the more intriguing you become. But unpredictability doesn't mean chaos. It means stoic control. It means you let the storm rage inside you, but on the outside, you're ice cold. No texts, no explanations, no online breadcrumbs, just stillness. And that stillness? It creates a vacuum. She'll feel it. She'll wonder why you haven't broken down. She'll check your stories. She'll ask mutuals how you're doing. And she'll hate how invisible she's suddenly become to the man she thought she shattered. But here's the thing. It's not about making her suffer. It's about choosing yourself. When you prioritize emotional discipline, you break the cycle of needing anyone else to fix what they broke. You stop being her emotional puppet. You become untouchable. It's hard. It'll feel unnatural at first, but every time you resist the urge to react, you're stacking power. Power that no one can take from you, because while she's out there chasing validation, you're mastering yourself. And in the end, the man who controls himself controls everything. Number 3, obsession is her fuel. Starve her. She expects you to watch her stories. She expects you to like that selfie. She expects you to send that "I miss you" text when the silence gets heavy. Why? Because attention is her oxygen. Obsession is her fuel. And every time you give her a piece of your focus, you feed the illusion that she still has control over you. But here's where you flip the script. You cut her off completely, not out of anger, not out of spite, but out of power. Think about it. She's not wondering how you feel. She already knows. She saw it in your eyes when she left. She heard it in your voice. She felt the shift when you begged for answers. But what happens when that energy suddenly disappears? What happens when the man who was once emotionally exposed becomes emotionally invisible? She gets uncomfortable. She starts asking questions. Did he move on? Did he stop caring? Why hasn't he reached out? That's the reverse hook. You're not chasing her anymore. Now she's chasing a reaction that will never come. And that creates an itch she can't scratch. Women, especially the ones used to being desired, rely on residual obsession. They feed off being remembered, being watched, being wanted. Even if they don't want you back, they want to matter. The moment you deny her that, you create psychological friction. You become the mystery, the unanswered question, and the human mind hates open loops. This is where your stoicism becomes lethal. No likes, no comments, no peeks at her profile. You become digitally dead to her. You ghost the ghoster. And the silence you give her? It's not empty. It's filled with doubt, with curiosity, with regret. She won't admit it, but she'll feel it. Starve the obsession, starve the cycle, give her nothing, and become everything she can't stop thinking about. Not because you chased her, but because you vanished. Fully, quietly, completely. Number 4, the comeback is internal. Everyone talks about the glow-up, the revenge body, the success flex, the post-breakup transformation meant to be seen by her. But let me ask you this, if your comeback still revolves around her watching it, is it really a comeback? Or are you still trapped in her orbit? The real transformation. It doesn't happen on Instagram. It happens in the dark, when no one's watching, and especially when she's not. You don't level up to get her back. You level up so you never find yourself begging for love again. That pain in your chest, that heaviness in your gut, good. Use it. It's fuel. Every workout, every business move, every hour of sleep you used to lose over her, you redirect all of that into rebuilding you, and not the old you, the new you, the one she wouldn't even recognize if she tried. You don't post it, you don't flaunt it, you don't breadcrumb it for her to notice. You go silent, you go private, and while she's out there convincing herself you're stuck, you're in the shadows becoming dangerous, stronger, sharper, more focused. You build your routine like armor. You stack wins until your confidence is no longer tied to who left. It's tied to who you became. Stoicism is about choosing purpose over pain. You don't suppress your emotions, you channel them. You don't run from the breakup, you turn it into your forge. Most men try to numb it with distractions. Not you. You sit in it, you absorb it, and then you weaponize it. So when she finally checks in, when she stalks your name, when she tries to orbit back into your life, it's already too late. Not because you got petty, but because the version of you she left behind doesn't exist anymore. You didn't move on to impress her. You evolved to replace the need for her completely. Your comeback doesn't need to be seen, it just needs to be real. Number 5. She'll miss the man you became too late. She thought she knew you. She thought you'd be predictable, emotional, needy, broken. She assumed she'd leave and you'd fall apart trying to make sense of it all. But here's where reality flips. The version of you she walked away from was the caterpillar. What she never expected was the cocoon, the silence, the grind, the detachment. She won't see the transformation as it's happening, but one day she'll feel it, and it'll hit her like a truck. It won't be when you post a thirst trap. It won't be when you flex a new girl. It'll be random, quiet. Maybe it's a memory, a scent, a song. Maybe someone she's with doesn't measure up to your silence. That's when it happens. The echo of you returns. But by then, you'll be gone. Emotionally unreachable. You won't be the guy hoping she reaches out. You'll be the man she can't stop thinking about, but can no longer access. This is where dark psychology gets real. Regret is more powerful than guilt. If you beg her, guilt makes her pity you. But if you vanish and rebuild, regret eats at her. Not instantly, not loudly, slowly, quietly, over time. Because while she's chasing surface-level validation, you've evolved into something rare, a man at peace with being misunderstood. The irony? She had full access to you when you were soft, when you were available, when your love was unconditional. She chose to walk, and now that you're strong, composed, emotionally elite, she's locked out. That's the consequence. That's the twist. You don't become the man she regrets leaving by trying to prove anything. You become that man by outgrowing her memory, not with hate, with indifference, with distance, with silence. By the time she misses you, you'll already be someone she doesn't know how to reach. And that's your victory. Number 6. Never beg for what walked away. Let's get one thing straight. Anything that walks away from you unprovoked was never truly yours. Not in loyalty, not in love, not in spirit. And the moment you beg for it back, you confirm something deadly. You place her above yourself. That's where most men lose their edge. They plead, they bargain, they offer more after being given less. But here's what Stoicism and dark psychology both teach us. The second you kneel emotionally, you've already lost. You're not some broken puzzle hoping she completes you. You're the prize, the frame, the foundation. If she couldn't see that, it's not your job to re-explain it. It's your job to act like it. Begging doesn't show love. It shows dependence, and dependence is repulsive when it's not reciprocated. The more you chase, the more she runs. The more you talk, the less she listens. And here's the kicker. People often test your worth by how little they can give and still be chased. That's not love. That's manipulation. That's power play. So when she pulls away and you reach out, hoping to fix things, you're not repairing anything. You're confirming she had the upper hand the entire time. Want to flip the script? Don't ask her why she left. Don't ask her to come back. Don't explain how much you've changed. Let your absence be your answer. Let your silence echo louder than your desperation ever could. When she realizes she can't trigger a reaction, when she sees you didn't collapse without her, that's when the dynamic changes. This isn't about ego, it's about self-respect. It's about refusing to hand your dignity to someone who already dropped it. The man who begs is forgotten. The man who walks away quietly, he becomes unforgettable, not because he fought to stay, but because he knew exactly when to leave. Number 7, mystery over validation. She wants to know what you're thinking. She wants to know if you're hurting, if you still check her profile, if you've moved on, or if you're just pretending. The modern mind craves validation, especially after leaving someone behind. She doesn't necessarily want you back. She just wants to know she could have you if she tried. That's the game. And the second you give her clarity, you give her comfort. Comfort kills curiosity, but mystery breeds obsession. So here's the strategy. Stop explaining yourself. Stop posting things that are clearly aimed at her. Stop hinting at how unbothered you are. Because if you were really unbothered, you wouldn't need to broadcast it. The most powerful men don't say a word. They let people wonder. They let absence do the talking. You want her to feel something, disappear without a trace. Let her reach a point where she starts telling herself stories about what you're doing. Let her imagination torment her with the unknown. That's how you flip the dynamic. You go from being predictable and available to being an enigma. Stoic men don't announce their healing, they live it. They don't need to scream, "I'm over you." They move in silence, with purpose, with discipline. That quiet confidence, that emotional stillness. It's not just attractive, it's haunting. And she'll feel it more than any post, text, or story ever could. Here's what most men get wrong. They think vulnerability equals power. It doesn't, not when it's given to someone who hasn't earned it. Power lies in restraint, in being unreadable, in being the chapter she no longer has access to, yet keeps flipping back to in her mind. You don't owe her understanding, you don't owe her access. What you owe is loyalty to your future, not your past. Let her guess. Let her wonder, and never, ever explain. Number 8, the scar makes you stronger. That pain you're carrying, that hollow feeling in your chest, that's not weakness. That's the scar forming. That's life carving resilience into your soul. She thought she broke you, but what she really did was ignite your next evolution. See, most men fear the scar. They hide it. Pretend it's not there. But the Stoic man, he wears it with pride, because he understands that every scar is proof he survived what was meant to destroy him. She didn't just leave you. She left a version of you behind. And now, in that aftermath, in the chaos she created, you've been forced to confront parts of yourself you never wanted to face. The insecurity, the emotional dependence, the fantasy of who you thought she was. And yeah, it hurts. It's supposed to. Growth doesn't come from comfort. It comes from the gut-wrenching realization that the love you gave so freely wasn't valued. That your vulnerability was met with distance, not depth. But that pain has a purpose. It hardens your boundaries. It sharpens your focus. It teaches you that the next time someone tries to enter your life, they earn it. They don't just get access to your loyalty, your time, your energy. They have to prove they're worthy. That's what the scar does. It teaches you how to stop bleeding for people who wouldn't do the same for you. Dark psychology says people respect what they suffer to earn. And now, you're no longer free. You're no longer available. You're no longer easy to access. That's not bitterness. That's protection. That's strength. The man who got hurt is gone. In his place stands someone harder to manipulate, impossible to guilt, and immune to emotional games. So when she looks back, if she ever does, all she'll see is the outline of a man she once knew, and realize the best version of him was forged after she left. And she'll know she doesn't get to touch that version, ever. Number 9. Attention is currency. Spend it on yourself. Every time you check her profile, you pay her. Every time you reread her messages, you invest in a memory that gives you nothing back. Attention is currency. And right now, you're broke. Not because you lack value, but because you keep spending your energy on something that no longer pays you. It's time to shift the flow. Every second you waste thinking about her is a second stolen from your own empire. This is where most men lose themselves. They confuse focus with love. But focus is a resource, and she no longer deserves it. Not after she walked away. Not after she chose silence. So why are you still feeding her relevance in your mind? Attention creates gravity. Where you look, your energy follows. And the more attention you pour into the past, the more you delay the man you're meant to become. You want to know what stings more than a heartfelt message? Indifference, not pettiness, not passive aggression, just pure disinterest. When your eyes are on your grind, not on her feed. When your days are full of motion, not emotion. When you don't just ignore her, you forget to even check. Attention-starved people crave one thing: evidence they still matter. The moment she senses that your world no longer revolves around her, the illusion shatters. You don't need revenge. You need results. Stack your wins. Build your body, your business, your mind. Fill your schedule so tight she couldn't squeeze in even if she tried. This is Stoic warfare. No dramatic exits, no emotional outbursts, just cold, focused, relentless self-improvement. You're not punishing her, you're promoting yourself. Because the highest form of detachment isn't deleting her number, it's when you don't even think to. When she's no longer a priority or a pain point, just a lesson. Redirect your attention, starve the past, invest in the man you were always meant to be. Number 10. Detachment is the final flex. She thought you'd always be there. Maybe not physically, but emotionally. Hooked, lingering, watching, waiting. What she didn't expect was your complete detachment. That's the final flex. Not the gym selfies, not the money moves, not even the glow-up. It's when she realizes she no longer lives rent-free in your mind, because the man she once knew no longer exists. That version of you, the one she left, is dead. And you didn't replace him with someone bitter. You replaced him with someone unreachable. Detachment doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you don't react. It's not coldness. It's control. It's choosing peace over validation, silence over chaos, purpose over pain. You stop needing closure, attention, or even justice. Because you know the truth now, you don't chase what walks away. You elevate so high it can't reach you anymore. She might come back one day. They always do when they realize the supply of your energy has been cut off. But by then, she'll be chasing a ghost. A man she once knew, now transformed into something she can't decode or manipulate. And that mystery? That's what haunts her. You don't flex detachment, you live it. You wake up without thinking about her. You move through your day without checking for her shadow. She's not a wound anymore, she's a scar, and even that's fading. You've transcended her role in your story. She was a chapter, not the book. This is the highest tier of power, not needing her to miss you, not hoping she regrets it, but being so locked into your mission, so grounded in your discipline, that even if she did come back, you wouldn't stop moving forward to acknowledge it. You win when you stop keeping score. You win when you forget the game ever mattered. That's detachment. That's dominance. That's the mindset that makes you untouchable. If you've made it this far, you're not the same man who hit play on this video. You're not here for pity. You're here for power, for clarity, for control. No closure? That's not your weakness, it's your advantage. Because the silence she left behind gave you something stronger than words ever could, the space to become unshakable. If you're done chasing ghosts, if you're ready to reclaim your power, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below, "I own my peace now." Your comeback doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be real. Stay sharp, stay stoic, stay dangerous.